Hello there. I ran across a pretty sweet deal recently with regard to some records, and I thought I would share that with you. There's a local guy that I've gone to. It kind of runs a record store, but out of a flea market, more or less. So it's only on weekends. But it's got a significant amount of volume and a significant amount of turnover. So it's like a record store. Anyway, I've mentioned it before. I've taken a road trip there a few times and been able to come back with some pretty sweet deals. He's usually got an awful lot of dollar records and that sort of thing. And every now and then he has a sale. And at the end of March, he had his 5th anniversary sale. And all of the records that he normally has that are priced, and typical prices ranging anywhere from $2 to, let's say, $20. Anything normally priced in that range, really anything that he had that was priced, was 50% off. And then he usually has several tables of dollar records. And his dollar records were now on sale for 10 for $1. So at that point, one's level of discernment drops a little. If you realize you can get a record for a dime, I know it's not free, but if you can get a record for a dime and it's relatively clean, sometimes you can buy it just for the cover. Sometimes you can buy it just because you want to experiment, and it doesn't cost you anything. So anyway, I picked up quite a few. I picked up quite a few records. I think I've got a giant stack here that may have ended up costing me $4. So total. So let me run through that. Again, for a dime a piece, these aren't all gems or anything like that, but most of them are pretty clean, and most of them I felt were worth putting in the collection. On ECM, Pat Metheny's American Garage. Michael Frank's Tiger in the Rain. Frida Payne, Contact. Oscar Peterson and Clark Terry. Oscar Peterson Trio +1, and that one being Clark Terry. Both this one and the Frida Payne are a little bit rough on the cover and a little bit rough on the vinyl, but I'm going to see if I can clean them up. Horselips, The Man Who Built America. This one I picked up only because of the name. I know nothing about them. This is Root Boy Slim and the Sex Change Band with the Rootettes. So I have no idea. So assuming the guy with the Root sunglasses there is Root Boy Slim, I have no idea where the rest of them come into play. But for a dime, you can't pass up a record by Root Boy Slim and the Sex Change Band. Early Renaissance album, Novella. Actually, it's 77, so it's not super early. But gatefold. Soundtrack for FM. Another gatefold. This one a double album. Average White Band Live. Double album. Very early Bee Gees before they went disco. This is Trafalgar. This is, in a way, almost proggish. I haven't heard the whole thing yet, but it doesn't sound bad. Early John Fogerty solo album. I think it's just called John Fogerty. Lee Michaels' Fifth. This one I bought only because of the cover. I know nothing about this band. Pavlov's Dog. Just really love this cover. And it's a gatefold. Hard to pass up. This one I also bought for the cover. This is a band called Badger. One Live is the name of the album, so I'm assuming it's live. It's Roger Dean cover art there. There. Really clean copy of Tower of Power. It's a fabulous horn section, if you don't already know about them. I've appeared on a lot of people's record albums, but fabulous, fabulous horn section from the 70s. Ray Davies, Return to Waterloo, recording for the soundtrack of that movie. Basically, the guys in the Kinks are helping him out, band-wise. Chris Rea, New Light Through Old Windows. Peter Himmelman, Gematria. I'm looking at the titles of a lot of these things because I just got them and I haven't listened to them, let alone taken a good look at them. Marshall Crenshaw, Downtown. Mason Ruffner, Gypsy Blood. This one, it seems that everybody and their grandmother has this record album, but I've never owned it. Asia, first Asia album with John Wetton. I remember hearing this on the radio, so much so that I got really tired of hearing this on the radio. But, you know, it's got Roger Dean cover art, and it's got a number of hits that I recognize on it, so for a dime, can't pass that up. This one is a guitarist named David Torn, and it's called Cloud About Memory. It's on ECM, and he's playing with Mark Isham, Tony Levin, and Bill Bruford. I'm familiar with David Torn, although I'm not familiar with this recording. David Torn is a wicked guitar player, just incredibly, amazingly inventive guitar player, and so I was pretty pleased to find this one. And if you notice, it's got WRCR scribbled across there in marker, and then a stamp up there from a radio station as well. And so I actually saw that, and then a little bit later I saw the same one with a little bit of a rough spine here, but no markings on it. So for 20 cents, I got two versions of that album, and I can decide which one's better later on. Speaking of Mark Isham, the trumpeter Mark Isham, or Isham, I'm not sure how you actually say that. Film music from Mark Isham, or Isham. A couple from Peter Gabriel's Real World label, Remy Ongala. Some music from Tanzania. And another one on the Real World label, Taboo Lay. Some music from Zaire. Both very, very clean. The Call is called Modern Romans. Yep, Modern Romans. Stan Ridgway, vocalist for Wall of Voodoo, The Big Heat. Guadalcanal Diary, Walking in the Shadows of the Big Man. Reflex, Politics of Dancing. The Rainmakers. I actually picked this up for the cover and the cover art. Didn't really think I knew anything about them, but there's a song on here called Let My People Go Go, and I think I know that song. Hoodoo Gurus, Mars Needs Guitars. Alison Moyet, Rain Dancing. Alison Moyet being the former singer for Yaz. Marty Jones, Match Game. Marty Jones, at least at one point, was the wife of producer Don Dixon. Don Dixon produced this one. A sealed copy of Everything But the Girls, Baby the Stars Shine Bright. Again, it's a sealed copy for a dime. Another sealed copy, Mink DeVille. Savoir Faire is the name of the album. Omar and the Howlers, Hard Times in the Land of Plenty. Kind of a bluesish rock band, bluesy rock band. Mason and Fenn, Nick Mason and I think Rick Fenn. Nick Mason from Pink Floyd. Greg Lake solo album from sometime in the 80s. I think it's just called Greg Lake. And last but not least, Local Hero, Mark Knopfler's soundtrack for the Scottish film Local Hero. Mark Knopfler of Dire Straits. And that's about it. But like I said, I've managed to get those albums, and the total cost was like $4. So I thought that was a pretty darn good deal. Anyway, I realize that there aren't, super fantastic gems in that collection, but 10 cents is the next best thing to free. So I'll take it. Anyway, that's about all for right now. I've got a couple other things coming down the line here, but for right now, I'll just sign off. And feel free if you recognize any of those albums and you want to make a comment, by all means, I'd welcome it. Yeah, that's about it. So see you around on YouTube.